All right, everybody, welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something I think it's pretty fascinating. It's these right-of-way rules.
Okay.
And we're going to be looking at sailboat racing.
All right.
But it really kind of applies to everyday life.
Yeah.
So even if you're not a sailor,
Right.
you can get something out of this because we all share space with other people.
Exactly.
And we're all trying to get where we're going. And,
Yeah.
trying to do that safely and efficiently.
Yeah.
And with, courtesy
Absolutely.
and respect and all those things.
Yeah.
So we're looking at some excerpts here from 1516,
Okay.
and they break down two fundamental rules from the racing rules of sailing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that these rules haven't changed in years.
You're exactly right.
It's just like,
Yeah.
they're the bedrock.
It's the foundation. These are like the fundamental things that you need to know before you can even start. To think about tactics and strategy. So much of it is built on this idea of predictability. It's being able to anticipate what other boats are going to do.
Right.
And that's key to making good decisions on the race course. But it's also key to just not running into each other.
Yeah. Well, let's jump right into it.
Okay.
Rule 15, acquiring right-of-way, states that when a boat gains the right-of-way, it must give the other boat room to keep clear.
Yeah. Okay, so far so good, but what does room actually mean?
That's a great question.
Like, is it like a boat length? Is it an actual measurement?
So that's the thing about sailing. It's not always.
Yeah.
You can't just put a number on it. It depends on the situation. It depends on the size of the boats, the speed of the boats,
Right.
the wind conditions.
Yeah.
But the general principle is that you need to give the other boat enough space that they can maneuver safely and predictably. So, like, think of it like driving on the highway.
Okay.
Somebody's merging into your lane. Like,
You don't just stay right next to them and
right, you give them space.
force them to slam on their brakes. You give them space to merge in smoothly.
Right.
So room in sailing is kind of like that's that courtesy space to allow the other boat to maneuver safely.
Okay, on to Rule 16, changing course.
All right.
This one gets a little more technical.
Okay.
Especially when you add in the nuance of 16.2.
Right.
This is all about changing course when you already have right-of-way.
Right. Just because you have right of way doesn't mean you can just swing your boat around like you're on a dance floor. You still have to think about the other boats around you and make sure they have enough room to keep clear.
Okay, so what are some of the things you have to think about?
Well, for starters, you've got to be aware of other boats' positions and their courses. Then there's the wind, right? Which way is it blowing? How strong is it? That'll affect how much room other boats need to maneuver. And of course, you can't forget about things like waves and currents. They can make a big difference in how a boat handles. And when it comes to changing course with right-of-way, there's a specific addition in Rule 16 that's really